I'm not going to make a long speech because probably it would be much more important to listen to you all and what you have to say and how to see the industry moving forward. Members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for having me. As you all know, it's a very troubled time. I don't know whether my ministry will last for a day or a month or 6 months or a year, or it could be 2 years. Either ways, I think I want to explain the decision I made, why I wanted to have stability to the country, leaving a party that I loved, leaving a party that I wouldn't say I left it, I might be kicked out, but leaving all those principles was I thought the country needs stability. The moment the country doesn't have stability, every minute we were spending, we were going down. I'm not justifying Ranil Wickremesinghe's move to be Prime Minister, but I think if he had he not accepted the position at that point, I would say right now we would have gone into 15-hour power cuts and not even fuel on queues. So it was a conscious decision that I had to make, whether I stand by a party or whether I stand by the principle I believe in, thinking about the country first. Country first is a normal slogan that any politician will use, and right now I'm also one of those 225, so many in this hall would not like me. So I can't help it, but I have to be a politician and do this job at this moment. Well, having said that, I think we are in for troubled times. We have gone through from 2019 a crucial time, critical time, and passing that we went into COVID, and just after COVID, when things were picking up, as you know, 2022 March, we've had a good turnout coming into Sri Lanka per day, close to about 3,400 guests. 2018 was our best year, where we had about 7,000 tourists arriving in the country, which would be about 30 flights full of foreigners coming to Sri Lanka, the beautiful land that we all love and we all expect to live in and work with. Slido, I would say, has done a major role, and is that Kimali speaking? I just saw you as Kimali. So, no, I met her today and I saw the same kind of a chain. So, and to be honest, I can't see it on my specs properly, so sorry. So I thought I had to, because when I tried to talk about it, I had to speak about very openly. So with Kimali's issue, I'll start. I never asked her to leave. It is just the precedence that was set. When any new minister takes over, all the boards resign and then we reappoint. That's exactly what happened, nothing else, and it was a miscommunication. However, after a few days, I figured out what the industry wanted, and I decided to appoint 3 individuals. Actually, all 4 is been now appointed. They were all professionals, and for the promotional bureau, the guy that we picked up worked for JWT, worked for Saatchi & Saatchi. He worked for Dentsu. He has worked, I think, in many advertising agencies as a CEO. So I thought giving an opportunity to a young guy would also help me to understand what we really need when it comes to promotional bureau. It should be purely activities for promoting tourism around the country. So I thought a good marketer would fit the position well. Mr. Harin Fernando is for the Tourism Development Authority. But before that, at the outset, I need to thank all the presidents of Slido, all the people who have served this industry. But this is a very critical time for people to even accept this challenge, because it's a hard job to do. At Tourist Development Authority, Harin Fernando has done the roadmap or the blueprint for Bangladesh tourism. So I thought, you know, a guy who was not in the industry after 95 would be better with his expertise that he had in other countries, would be an advantage for this. Also, Mr. Shiranta Pilis, you put him at the hospitality or the hotel school, because he was in the hospitality industry. He used to be the main instructor at Sri Lankan Airlines as well as Etihad. So he had some foreign experience and he's a motivated guy. We need to change lots of things at the hotel school also, because we don't have an accreditation. Even though there's a certificate, it's not accredited from anywhere. So that was my first thing, that I thought it has to be accredited. And I thought Right now we have a job issue. I am close with the Foreign Employment Minister, which was my former portfolio. So we're signing an MOU to make sure we send all these trained boys immediately when they pay and join, they will get a job abroad as well. So these are things that we were trying to change. There's quite a lot of things going through my mind, having hard to sleep at night because I do not know about the political stability in the country. I do not know the social stability in this country, and I also don't know the economic stability of this country. One thing I can say is we've taken a challenge. And in life, I always want to take a challenge. When things are tough, it's easy to criticize. But if you only criticize, you're not doing the right job. You need to actually accept a challenge at a point when things are bad. As you know, I was very critical of this government. People wonder how I sit with them. Is that politics? Well, that is politics. If you know you want to do something for the country, sitting with the enemy even might be hard, but that's how you'll find a solution. So I made that decision, which was very difficult, which a lot of the masses don't understand and say, Harin Fernando. So no, I didn't. And any asset I can show, I was so lucky that I had a father that who left me a good amount of money, so I can actually prove it that I have never taken or stolen. But country situation going forward will be tough. I just met the Prime Minister in the morning. Don't get discouraged about these things. These are challenges that we as a country, as stakeholders of the country, will have to face. We will, if we do not have a food security program, within the next 1 month, we are going into a massive crisis of food. Already we are hearing stories, horrified stories where people walk into shops taking things. So it's not stable. So, but for me, the job is more difficult to go and convince an ambassador to take the travel warnings out. So we have so much more to do as an industry, as stakeholders. Having said that, again, I place my confidence on a man who had some, sorry for my words, balls to take it. Don't take it wrong. But either way, one person in the country took that challenge. And for me, I went against him, but I wanted to support him simply because we needed some sort of stability to pick ourselves up again. Political stability will ultimately come. As you know, the May 9th protest really, it was a very peaceful protest. I'm not against the protest, but the protest became violent and everything went against us. So it's very hard when something like that and a massive damage happens into the country to fix it back again. So as Laito has given me so many things, so many changes that we need to do, I am here to assure you, I will make sure I do to the best of my ability to get this industry back running fast as possible. But it won't be an easy task, it's an Herculean task, unless you all come up and give me your support. So I'm here standing, I am here worried, and I'm here sometimes scared of my own life, but the next house that's going to get burnt is mine. That I'm so sure of, because when the country goes into a situation, they'll come chasing a politician and say, you all gave them stability. That's not true. I'm trying to give stability to a country. The Aragalya or the protest should remain what they believe in, and what I believe in is also the change. I believe in abolishment of executive presidency. I believe in a 19th amendment where everything is independent and transparent. So I will fight for it. It's difficult to go to the dragon and work with the dragon when you have criticized him. It's very difficult. But I am assuring you, as much as we look at the industry, the country situation will also simultaneously have to change. Right now we have taken a few things. We've wanted to go to India for a road show, not a kind of a flamboyant road show, but a very pleading road show, at least the Indian tourists to start coming into Sri Lanka. As you know, there's a problem with the Russian Aeroflot that happened yesterday, and we did to our best of our ability trying to speak to, because it was not the Attorney General, it's not the Sri Lankan government that went into court. It was a private lawyers who went into court, And I can't criticize the decision, but there are certain flaws in that decision that they should have done, because that flight should have been sent off. Unfortunately, it is going to look very bad on us, because at least the Russian tourists were coming. About 200 tourists were getting off at a through flight. That will stop. We're working with other airlines. We've spoken to Turkish Airlines, they're a bit expensive, but we're at least trying to get them to pull in some Russian tourists, and we've been engaging with them quite constantly. India, Russia, and the Middle Eastern market is a market that we'll have to try now. But I was supposed to go on a personal trip to England for a wedding, but if I do, I have already made some appointments with the UK at the UK ambassador's premises to invite some travel agents just to meet, just to give a briefing about Sri Lanka, meet counterparts in those countries, and France and Berlin, all within 3 days. So, and I'm not spending a cent from the government, it's from my personal account, and trying to help whatever way that we can to revive this economy. You all have issues about the moratorium. We've spoken about it, and I've spoken with the SLITO members. They've given me a good option where we can go to the ADB, request for these loans, but for all that to happen, IMF program has to be implemented in Sri Lanka. To implement that, it will minimum take about 2 to 3 months. Right now, Sri Lankan government need $1.8 billion to survive the next 3 months, which we haven't got. And that's the scariest part. So the situation is as such, and when you take a risk at this situation, it could go either ways. It could go positive, more chances for it to go negative. But there are lots of people who are willing to help Sri Lanka. As you know, G7 finance ministers endorsed to support Sri Lanka. I was there when RW called, our Prime Minister called Boris Johnson. So there are lots of positives around us, and I think that stability is something that we need as a country. I just had a very interesting meeting today with Kanchan Vijayasekara, the minister. You know, one of the very young guys who are really capable, and I didn't like him because we were in opposite camps. But when I really realized today that he's also working really hard, I felt very confident that we can pull this through. Because we spoke about the fuel situation, which is a concern for all of you. We will come up with a plan on Monday that where you can find, and also they suggested to give us 2 or 3 locations in the country as fuel stations for the tourism ministry to have fully for us alone. But that will take time. So, but until that such time, we've come up to a plan, how much are liters, which districts we went in by detail, and I will present it to you all so that you all can share it to amongst your members and other stakeholders, how this operation will start to work. Immediately, your requirements, we've planned something out, and I will give it to you in writing rather than saying it, so it's a bit complicated document, but the fuel will be sorted. For generators, some good news. The electricity board is trying not to cut electricity in the next few months at least. They're trying to force themselves, have the fuel to the main power generation stations and work along it. I am the lands minister as well. We are working with few companies. We just discussed with another company, one of the biggest companies in China, to lease out those lands, no investment. They will give us power generation within 3 months. So that's a very positive thing. And also, I mean, just an example, not that Harin Fernando is just and I can't see him here, but they have done a good thing at Jetwing, doing the thermal power and also the solar and how they have used it. And that has come to good effect, and within about 5 to 6 months they have recovered their investment. That's what I heard. So these are things that where we can help you. Let's say there's a land next to a hotel that is belonging to the government, we will be able to find you or get you that land to do solar, because long term we should never go through this crisis again if we are to survive as an industry. Electricity is a must, but people has a problem, or the ambassador's concern was electricity one, number 2 was the fuel queues. So we need to fix those 2. They love Sri Lanka. I always keep saying, we are on a treasure sleepy. Nidanayak kuda api nidaganna. That's unfortunate. One thing I learned when I went into the ministry is that Sri Lanka Promotional Bureau may it be Sri Lanka Tourist, what do you call it, SLTDA, Development Authority, they are all political appointments. When a new minister comes, sees the cadre, his first thing is he'll see how many people he can put from his electorate, which is why the Promotion Bureau doesn't know how to promote. Which is why sometimes the policy making is not being done properly. But we can't blame that's our past. We need to move forward in the future in the right way. So I'm quite keen that we will make these changes. We will work very closely with Slito. We will work very closely with TASL. We will work closely with all the stakeholders, even the guides, even the tourist chauffeurs, and even the other service providers. So I've been, for this 1 week, I think I've met almost everyone, and I'm trying to even do some promotional campaigns through our own. And I'm a strong believer that Sri Lankan Airlines need to do much more as promoting our destination. When you land in Dubai on an Emirates flight, they talk about the Atlantis, they talk about the desert safaris, but Sri Lanka when landing, not even on a screen, we say about what Sri Lanka tourism can do. So these are small changes that I've thought of, I've recognized from my own experiences, and now that I am working very closely with all of you, I have figured that we can do a lot more. I don't want to take much of time. I just love to hear a few people. I can stay for another 40 minutes, 45 minutes. If you're willing to ask me questions, ask whatever doubts you have, or anything that I have missed, you can ask me those as well. I would be glad to talk to you and respond to you. They say, when they normally finish a speech, they say thank you, but I'm going to change it and I'm asking you to think new. Thank you.